the incomparable Maureen O'Hara. She was the epitome of a beautiful Irish lass, and coupled with that fiery Irish spirit, she was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Who can forget the scenes of her with John Wayne in their many films together, specifically my favorite, The Quiet Man. Their chemistry was unbelievable, but the chemistry was also incredible with Brian Keith in The Parent Trap, the second favorite film of mine made by Maureen O'Hara. Remember that scene in the kitchen where she's making the spaghetti? Oh my gosh, just so much chemistry. It's amazing. She was an incredibly talented and versatile actress, and I had the great good fortune of being able to work on her estate auction at Bonham's in Los Angeles in 2016. We started out in Los Angeles with a preview there for 2 weeks. And then we actually packed up all of the items, shipped them to our New York office, and we did another 2-week preview there, and the auction actually took place there. In between those two events, we had Turner Classic Movies come in and shoot some footage of the items. We were collaborating with them on the auction, and that was really fun. And then they aired a promotion on their channel. See how much fun I'm having? This was such a spectacular auction, and there were so many items, but I'm going to focus on the clothing because she had some incredible gowns and costumes that I'd like to share with you. I'm showing the clothing in no particular order, but I'm starting with this one. It's my favorite. I don't know what the original color was because I think it faded, but she wore this in 1957 on the Dinah Shore show, and here you can see her with Dinah and Howard Keel and Robert Wagner. This gorgeous beaded cocktail dress was worn for publicity photos. She would often wear these cocktail dresses for publicity photographs, and then she also wore them for publicity events. She had great taste in cocktail dresses. She liked dresses with a lot of ruching, which I also love. And she often chose green because she looked particularly good in that with her red hair. This is another one of my favorites. She wore this in the late 50s and early 60s. She wore it on What's My Line, and also here where you can see her holding court with a group of notable men, including Richard Nixon and Bob Hope. Peasant blouses were all the rage back in the 1940s, and Maureen was able to take this simple peasant dress and make it quite sexy looking with these photos of her on the beach. Maureen wore this gorgeous, colorful cocktail dress with a ruched waist, again, on her episode of This Is Your Life. And amazingly, she did not know that the show was going to be shot, so she picked a perfect dress for it. Here are some more lovely cocktail dresses that she wore in publicity photographs and for events. And it's fun to see these photos. She always seems to be the center of attention. I think she was quite a charismatic person with a great personality. In 1965, Maureen appeared in a film called The Battle of the Villa Fiorita, and though it wasn't a success, the clothes are phenomenal. They were all designed by Pucci, and here is a selection of them that she wore in the movie. This one is particularly fantastic. It's all sequins and beads, and she wore it to several places. I believe she had it written in her contract that she was able to keep the wardrobe after filming ended. This is my personal favorite from the Pucci collection. Oh my gosh, I wish I could have bought it. She had exquisite taste in evening gowns and really knew what looked good on her. This dress is just stunning. She wore it on the Andy Williams show. She wore this gown to the 1960 Golden Globe Awards, and here she is with the head of Warner Studios, Jack Warner. You definitely see a theme here with the ruched bodices, but she knew what worked. She wore this gown for the film Malaga and for many publicity photographs, and it must have been one of her favorites because she wore it often and she looked, as you can see, spectacular in it. In the 1970s, she appeared in a series of tribute shows to John Ford and John Wayne. She wore this one in a show called The Fabulous 40s. They were kind of caftan-type gowns, but they were so beautiful on her. They didn't look like your typical caftan-type gowns that were to hide weight problems. She was in great shape. She looked stunning. She wore this gown in a tribute to John Wayne, which was in 1976, where she sang the song, "I've Grown Accustomed to Your Face," to him. And if you're a fan of these two as a screen team, you will definitely be choked up if you watch it. It's just so beautiful and touching. As I'm doing this video, I'm realizing that it's getting quite long and there are more beautiful clothes and costumes that I'd like to share with you. So I'm going to end this video here as part 1 and stay tuned for part 2. Thanks so much for watching.